It's my pleasure to welcome you in continuity of Diaspora Management, and this is Unit 2. If you've got the latest syllabus, it says Unit 5.2 in the actual entrepreneurship booklet. This is the same unit as Unit 2 in the Diaspora Management booklet. So there's no confusion why we gave it 5.2 in the entrepreneurship booklet. Units continues from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wanted to maintain the series. So when you come to Unit 5, Unit 5.1, it is Diaspora Management Unit 1. Unit 5.2, it is Diaspora Management Unit 2, but in entrepreneurship, it's Unit 5. 5.1, 5.2, these are two optional units. Now, this second unit in Diaspora Management as well as entrepreneurship, it is Unit 2, Community Links. And I would like to introduce to you the learning objectives and also the assessment criteria. And in here, we follow each other slowly but surely. And I trust that by now, you begin to get the direction as to where we are going with Diaspora Management. Thank you very much. Let's quickly browse through the syllabus and the learning outcomes. I trust that the hard copy you have is pretty exactly in terms of wording as the one you can see on the screen. The only difference it might have is the one I mentioned in 5.1, in 5.2. Otherwise, it's community links, Diaspora Management. What are you going to learn? It is how to link your work to the country of origin for development, understanding the role of embassies and how to work with them in economic development and charitable contribution to countries they represent. How embassies can work with the local community to harness their productivity, potential, and link them to developmental initiatives. How to be a good citizen in the diaspora base. Awareness of community needs and government targets for community development. These objectives, they are not a standalone. For example, how to be a good citizen in the diaspora base. For those in the United Kingdom, there are other programs which talk about this, but they are worded in different ways. I think for those doing on citizenship programs, they might understand some of these things. And awareness of community needs and government targets for community development. I haven't seen any calls on this topic or outcome, but when you look at what the local authorities or local councils do from time to time, they announce what they want to do in the future. Most governments do these things. So we're going to look at how you can actually utilize those areas. And outcome number 8, how embassies can work with the local community to harness their productivity potential and link them to developmental initiatives. Very, very timely and actually befitting for diplomats. This is very important. It shows how actually embassies can become proactive by linking themselves or looking for information that will link themselves to their own people for whom they represent in that nation, where they are now resident as high commissions or embassies or ambassadors. Okay? So we will flow through this together. Before we go any further, I just want to emphasize a point of assessment. Assessment is essential for those who are on diplomas, certificates, and awards, as well as for those who are on workshops. Just create materials, even though you're not represented for assessment on a workshop. It will help you to enhance your learning. Peradventure in the future, if you want to actually present these materials for assessment to upgrade your learning, it will be there and you can bring it, and the assessor will pass recommendations for improvement or as the case might be. Now let's go together through the assessment criteria. It's very critical and essential, and I also encourage every learner, do research Go to the library, find out information on different topics regarding this program, and you find that you're going to enhance your learning. The internet is one good source that you can look at. There are so many articles written about Diaspora initiatives. Now, this course is bringing things together in one package so that you can get your accreditation to what you're doing. Let's go through this assessment criteria. The candidates are assessed by coursework with a number of evidence produced. Evidence required is listed below, and all elements must be ticked off for a candidate to pass this unit 2, meaning the things I'm going to show you in table A here. You must achieve all these for us to say you are happy. We are happy with you. Now, the candidate can either pass or fail or be referred, meaning if evidence is sufficient, we simply say you've passed. There's no level of degree of competence. It's simply pass. You're competent, period. If not, it's a fail. Otherwise, this fail can be avoided through what we call referrals. We refer you because you've got a number of times that you've got to meet your tutor, go through your evidence, they'll refer some work back for you to improve. By the time the deadline is coming through, you'll have succeeded. Unless you just don't want to do no work, you otherwise fail. So here on the assessment criteria, we put a tick, R or F or P. P for pass, F for fail, R for referral. None of you are expected to fail. And that's what I explained there. A candidate has a right to receive at least 3 times feedback on the whole course work within the agreed time of directed learning hours. So make use of that. A record sheet is completed at each end of the feedback with a tutor, and both the candidate and the tutor and the assessor must do what? Sign. Where do they sign? Here at the bottom, we've included that. So this, in the Word package, you can actually type in it and sign dates, put dates there, and at the bottom, or the end of the page there, you must annotate your signatures. There must be, in the new booklet, there's where we say signatures for assessors and candidates. And in our actual quality document, there is a separate completion sheet in which you actually put your signatures, and all your feedback is there. Your tutor will give you 1 copy. Let me very quickly see if I can find that candidate record sheet where you're going to be signing your materials, how it looks like. Let me very quickly do that so that we don't time. I'd rather while you're on the course than to wait for such materials at a later stage. Okay, and I'm looking for IQ documents. And there I'm looking for, here there is candidate record, okay? Candidate record. Yeah, candidate record. You must ensure that when you meet with your tutor or assessor, or you're submitting your work, you must always have this in front of your work. Can you see at the bottom here? IQA sampling signature and assessor signature there. You have your candidate name and the assessor name and the course name and the level at which you actually are doing work. Each time you do a piece of work, you must write the date there. Tell us what kind of things you're doing here. Are you planning, or is it feedback from your tutor? What has your tutor said? All things must be written over here. Once that is written, your signature and the signature of your tutor must be there, and work must be dated. This is when you're submitting work for assessment. That is very important. So remember, you need a candidate record. Now let's quickly go back to the materials. Now, how do you actually pass this unit? The assessment criteria, P1, says state a minimum of 3 things an embassy does. That's a mistake. An embassy does. Just name them. Describe 2 or more ways in which a diaspora person can link their country of origin. Describe. How can they do this? I think in the Unit 1, we touched a bit on this. What is the possible role of an embassy in the context you have described? For example, if you describe a situation on how you think a person who lives in the diaspora can link their country of origin, can link to their country of origin, tell us the role of the embassy in there. P3, identify and describe at least one or more ways in which you can contribute to the economic or to, I said that again, identify and describe at least one or more ways in which you can contribute to economic or any given development of your country of origin. We specify, first of all, economic or any other developmental area you think you can contribute to. So, identify, describe, explain, these are different forms of instructions. When we say identify, just say that one. Don't say nothing about it. For example, you can say education. You have identified education. Now, describe education. How would you contribute? That's when you begin to say a lot of things about it. P4, describe two or more legal issues that one has to be aware of when living in the diaspora. We did talk about this actually in Unit 1. It's very important so that you are aware. Even I believe this course must be undertaken by many people who are still also in their country of origin, so that they can prepare themselves when they travel abroad for success. P5, show how a diaspora community organization can be of use to foster development in any given context. What's a development, what's a diaspora community organization? It's those organizations that have set themselves up to address diaspora issues. They are Christian organizations, they are other faith organizations, they are business organizations, so many of them. They've got different objectives. In Unit 1, we looked at different types of organizations that they are both run by the diaspora community and the host communities. Those are the ones you're going to do. You're going to show how these can actually foster development. P6, describe one or more ways. In fact, let me go back to P5. What evidence are they looking for here? Here it could be a poster or a video which is recorded, or audio recorded of yourself at least 20 minutes describing, standing in front of a camera, you're talking about the topic. In any other materials where at P1, P2, P3, where we haven't specified what evidence we require in terms of what you're going to hand in, assume it is written. You might actually be allowed to do a presentation or PowerPoint. 6. Describe one or more ways of finding out the actual community development. So I said, describe one or more ways of finding out the actual community development targets in skills and business development. Now, state how you can help to promote achieving these targets. You can do two ways here. Targets which are required to be met in the country where you're staying now, and also targets which are required to be met in the country where you come from. Mind you, we're doing a dual development here. The country you come from and the country you're living in. There's no point in just concentrating on one arm. Both arms must be balanced. You have a role to play. Are you happy with this? Okay, thank you very much. Then I would like you to pause this clip and play back again and forth until you know what we are up to and where we're going. So in the next clip, I'll continue teaching Unit 2. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate you so much. And I trust that when you're submitting your work online, don't upload material more than 50 megabytes. The highest you can do probably is 90 megabytes, because there are thousands of other students online that are submitting work. So we put a limit there anyway. It will just crash. But to avoid crashing, let your uploads online be 50 megabytes. If you can push it at all, it should be 90 megabytes. Thank you very much, and I trust that you're going to enjoy the Unit 2 community links. Signing off, Dr. John Lukomona. See you in the next part.